Hey, this is Randy at funeralfunds.com. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $10,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 64-year-old female. Now, first thing I recommend you do is go directly to our website at funeralfunds.com. We've got these free quoters on just about every page, and you just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday in there, put the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies with the best pricing available for your age, gender, and the state that you live in. Take advantage of that. It's a really great way to compare pricing. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you understand your options and coverage and pricing as well. Now, one of the first things we recommend for a 64-year-old female looking at $10,000 worth of insurance is just considering, is that going to be enough for your final expense needs? Now, final expense needs would typically be either a cremation or a burial. So if we look at the cremation, the average cost of a cremation right now in the United States is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn. Now, if you're going to have some sort of a ceremony, like a celebration of life or remembrance ceremony, that's probably going to be right around the $3,500 to $4,500 range, depending what part of the country you live in. Now, as far as what coverage you would need, it's different for both of those options. So if you're to look at that cremation where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, that's probably, we typically end up helping people with around $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, some of you might be going, well, Randy, you said the cremation's around $2,000, but we're looking at $5,000 worth of coverage. What's going on there? Well, what's going on is our 64-year-old female probably wants to make it to 74, maybe even 84. And we know that prices will increase over time due to inflation. So what we actually do is just get a little bit more coverage than's needed right now. That locks in the lowest rate at the youngest age. And then that inflation proofs the plan so that there's going to be enough money in the future at some point when you do pass away. Now, on the front end of that and the lower, if something happens sooner than anybody thought, there's a little bit more insurance than what things will cost today. But that's kind of nice because it can be used to pay off any other expenses that may kind of be left that you would have, if you would have lived long enough, you would have paid those off, but you didn't, right? So there's be things like medical bills, credit card bills, stuff like that. So it works terrific. Protects long-term against inflation, protects short-term just in case there's other bills that need to be paid off. Now, as far as that cremation where there's a ceremony, typically help people with $7,000 to $10,000. Again, we're inflation proofing it for long term, but providing some extra money early on, just God forbid if you died sooner than you thought. Now, for a burial, the average cost in the United States is right around $10,000. It's hard to imagine you wouldn't be able to walk into a funeral home with a $10,000 check and, they'd help you get it done. But, if they told you to, hey, head out the door, we can't do it, you could always just walk a couple blocks down the road to one of their competitors and get it done there. But just understand, 10,000 is kind of takes care of your most immediate needs right now, but it is not inflation proofed at all. Because we know prices will go up and hopefully you'll live another 10, 15, 20 years plus, even more, hopefully. So we would typically end up helping a 64-year-old female with maybe $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000. Kind of just depends really how extravagant you think your funeral needs to be. And if we kind of know that, we can help you understand what rates are and actually coverage amounts are going to be most appropriate for you too. We can certainly help you out with that. Sometimes people will say, hey, I want to take care of my burial, but I also want to leave some money behind for the kids. So they might say, what's $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000 going to be? And we say we shared $50,000 with them, and they go, oh, that's more than we can afford because we're on a fixed income, disability, something like that. So sometimes they'll just say, well, we're just not going to do anything. If we can't do everything, we're not going to do anything. We have to just let them know that originally they came here because they wanted the final expenses taken care of, the burial, the cremation. So why don't we get that taken care of for sure? And then at some point in the future, if you want to add the kids in on a separate policy, that works terrific because you get your most immediate needs taken care of and the final expenses taken care of. Because if you don't take care of that, they're going to end up paying for it. And chances are they're going to have to put it on a credit card. be paying 26% interest. They'll be paying on it years and years and years. And you don't want to burden your kids with that. But it works really good. We can just split them up. And most people are really just pleased with that option. If money's kind of not a concern for you, we can certainly do it all at once. But that's just kind of on an individual basis based on who we're helping at the time. Now, one thing we always recommend getting is first day coverage or benefits. We do not recommend those plans with 2-year waiting periods at all. No, we don't. No, we don't. We'll get to that in a moment here. But what first day coverage means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to send out that check for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever it was. It's the best coverage. It's going to be the lowest pricing. Now, some people will say, you're right, Randy, I do like that first day coverage, but I'm not in the best of health. And I know they ask health questions and I'm worried I may not get approved. To that, we always say, hey, that's our problem, not your problem, at least from an insurance perspective. The reason we say that is we work with a lot of different insurance companies and they all have different underwriting questions. They all have different underwriting. So different health questions, different underwriting. And right now, really about 95% of the people that we're helping, we're getting approved for first day coverage or benefits. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you approved for first day coverage is if you just waited too long and you had some significant health or medical issues going on. Like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to die in the next 12 months. Maybe you had dementia or you're on dialysis or in a hospital or in a nursing home. If that were the case, typically we would recommend you out to a different insurance company. And then it seems like every week somebody will call us up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have any insurance and we don't have any money. Their body's down at the funeral home. The funeral home director is not going to do anything till he gets money in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get a check from the insurance company to pay the funeral home guy so we can get everything taken care of. We have to let them know there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to issue and approve a policy on a dead person. You have to be alive to actually qualify for this insurance. And it's really terrible that they lost a family member, but it's even more terrible that they left these bills behind for them because they knew they were going to die someday. They'd probably looked at this insurance in the past and they procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated until one day they just went and died. And now their family members have to pay for this. And in most cases, family members are going to have to put it on a credit card and going to be paying 26% interest and going to be paying on this years and years and years. What a terrible legacy to leave behind. You could have done everything else right in life and then you messed this one thing up and that's how you're going to be remembered. So don't do that. Don't be that person. Get this insurance. It's affordable. If budget's a little tight, we can always start small, add more coverage later. Now, one thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. Colonial Penn's a fairly well-known insurance company. I think it's just because they advertise on TV all the time. It seems like their $9.95 commercials are on like every 7 minutes or so. But yeah, if you didn't know this, Colonial Penn's $9.95 a month plan, that's a 2-year waiting period plan. Ouch, right? Ouch, you probably didn't realize that. But yeah, you just totally want to avoid a 2-year waiting period plan if we can get you qualified for first day coverage. You'll end up way overpaying and waiting 2 years, of course. But Colonial Penn, they're not the only one that offers a 2-year waiting period plans. Mutual of Omaha, they're United of Omaha, Line, AIG, Gerber. Gosh, just so many other different insurance companies are 2-year waiting period only. And some of those companies out there have done an amazing job at convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't believe such nonsense. We get people approved with first day coverage all day long. Yeah, so don't believe that garbage. Oh my gosh. But, our 64-year-old female is probably thinking, I just watched that Colonial Penn commercial and man, at age 64, it sounds like everybody gets approved for such great rates. So I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for $9.95. And then she talks with the Colonial Penn agent or goes on their website and checks out the pricing like, we've done for you here. And then she sees it at a female age 64 for 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95. It's only going to pay out $1,313. Now, $1,313 might be enough to pay for a cremation and maybe like 25% of the United States, just kind of estimating there, but that's probably pretty close. But yeah, probably not most places. But even if it were enough to pay for it, it doesn't matter because it's got a 2-year waiting period. It's not going to pay for any health or medical related death in the first 2 years. So why would you ever get a plan that you're underinsured and it's not going to pay out for 2 years? Because, man, it's not going to pay for a cremation in most parts of the country. And of course, it's not even going to get close to paying for a burial. So why would you do that? Now, some people would say that companies out there that offer these really low teaser rates, they do that they say they do that just to get your info in so that they can get you in their marketing funnel and then just sell you stuff and get you on the phone and try selling you stuff. And some would say that they're more than happy to show you that lowest $9.95 and then show you how minuscule the coverage is, because then they turn around and try to upsell you to higher coverage amounts where it's a lot more profitable for them. So we would never say that Colonial Penn would ever do anything like that, but some people seem fairly convinced of that. And I guess you can make your own determination based off the fact that for $9.95, you're only going to get $1,313. So let's try to find out how much we can get for, how much 10,000 is going to be. I'm going to guess that's like 7 or 8 units. Let's look at 8 units. You got to guess around. Oh, there, right. I hit it pretty close based off the math. So 8 units is going to pay $10,504. Colonial Penn's not like a normal company where you can get 10,000 on the nose, because they sell by units. That's the only way they can break it down to a $9.95 per unit thing. But you're going to get roughly $10,000 for roughly $80. Let's check and see what first day coverage would be. Here we go. So we got $10,000 for a female age 64. Here we go. Get quotes now. Let's go back and take a look again. This is going to be $10,000 for roughly $80. And if we come here and we look at some different insurance companies, I mean, these are all within pennies, right? So basically like 39 bucks. So would you rather get 10,000 for 39 bucks, or would you rather get 10,000, and change for 80 bucks? And Colonial Penn, we routinely see them being right around 200%, just right around there, but right around 200% more expensive than first day coverage that we help people with. So why would you ever do that? And when you see 3 different companies that are all kind of the same price, it doesn't mean you can get approved for any one of the 3. You might have some health issues that, Trinity Life will approve you, that Transamerica or Mutual of Omaha wouldn't. And then there's some companies out there that it can take like a month to actually find out whether you've gotten approved. And yet there's other companies out there that you can get an approval the same day over the phone. And then some of these companies out there, you might have to wait 3 to 5 days a week or so to find out. We always prefer companies that you can actually find out immediately on the spot over the phone. And that way, you've got this taken care of. But let's look at some other companies here too. Let's see. You'll be able to see all these different insurance companies. But, oh yeah, here's one. So Lincoln Heritage here, they're a fine company, I guess. But, ooh, look at that pricing. Yikes. Pretty high. It is first day coverage. But, yeah, I mean, the pricing is what, like $16 more a month? And you might be going, well, why is it higher? Well, Lincoln Heritage has a deal where when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 funeral homes to get the lowest pricing and do a few other things, but they don't do that for free. They charge for that. And it's going to cost you extra every single month for the rest of your life. So we're roughly $56 versus, right around $40. So we never recommend that you overpay. I mean, $16 a month. Let's do the math on that. $16 a month times 12 months. That's right around $192 a year. You'd be overpaying. If you do it in another 10 years, our 64-year-old female gets up to age 74, you'll have ended up overpaying right around $1,920, just roughly. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth going with a company like Lincoln Heritage where, you're going to overpay $1,920 roughly, and all they're going to do for you is phone, 2 or 3 funeral homes, maybe do a couple other things that only takes an hour or so to do. A lot of people would say that's a pretty good payday for an insurance company, $1,920 roughly per hour. So we recommend you don't do that. We recommend you let us help you get approved for a lower price insurance company. And then what we actually provide free of charge, by the way, is a funeral and estate planning guide. And you can download that off our website. And once it's downloaded, just print it out and then fill it out. Just fill that thing out, and you write down exactly what you want done after you're gone, who gets what goes where, and then what you want to happen when you pass away. And then keep that with your insurance policy. And that way, when you pass away, everything's in one place. And your family will know that you not only protected them financially with the insurance policy, but also emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. Because all they need to do is open the funeral and estate planning guide and start reading. And they'll know exactly what you wanted done, and you'll have provided the money for them to do it. And they will know at that point that you not only loved and protected them in life, but you loved and protected them that one last time in death, exactly when they would need you the most, but you weren't there. But you took care of this in advance. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. If you want to leave a legacy like that, just visit us at funeralfunds.com. We've got a special quote for our YouTube visitors, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. You can see the best companies with the lowest rates, and we highly encourage you to take a look at that. That way you can be a smart consumer. And you can also call us at 888-862-9456. But, if you've got an existing policy and you just want us to price shop it to make sure you got the best deal, or you want to add coverage to it, we can help you out with that. If you want brand new coverage, or you just have some questions, need some help, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to that day when we can get you the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.